Hi, we're going to get started building our Oaxacan animal armature. That means skeleton. So as you can see, I've taken my photographs of my animal and I've used a lot of geometric forms such as rectangles, circles, triangles, and ovals to figure out what shape the animal is. Now I've drawn it onto a sheet of newspaper following those same geometric forms. Now what I want to do is I want to figure out how to build it. So I'm going to take a marker that's a different color than I've used, and I'm going to get rid of little things that don't matter. Like, I'm not going to worry about the knee, I'm not going to worry about the ankle, I'm not going to worry about any ears right now, and I'm not going to worry about any tails. I'm going to draw the most basic shapes that I see, and don't worry about the small stuff. We're just trying to get down to the basic shapes that you need to build with your wire and newspaper. So here would be an example of the basic shapes. You can see I'm not doing anything with the jawbone, the nose, or the feet joints or ankles or any of that. Okay, so this will be your next step. I've got my animal simplified down into maybe 5 or 6 most basic shapes. I'm not worrying about ears, I'm not worried about tails, I don't care about the knees right now, I don't care about the hoof. I'm just going for the big shapes of the body like head, neck, torso, body shape, major legs. So let me show you how to do a leg. I'm going to start by cutting my wire 4 times as long as the leg. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4 times as long as the leg. Now I'll take my pliers and I'll snip it off, and I'll go ahead and put in a little safety loop at the end and the other end using the very tip of those needle nose pliers. There we go. Okay, we've got that. Next, I'm going to rip a piece of newspaper. I'm going to take it and crumple it just like we did the legs on our Giacometti figure. And I'm going to use the drawing of my animal to help me know how long to make that. When I crumple it, I'll crumple it thin here because the animal has thin legs. It gets a little thicker here, and I'll add a little extra newspaper there. Let me show you how. I got a twist, twisting it thin, just like that, the leg of a donkey. This is going to be a donkey. Okay. Now I've got my twist, just like your Giacometti figures, and it's the same width as the leg of the donkey at the bottom on the thin part of the leg. Now I'm going to take my wire and I'm going to clamp it on the end using my pliers. Okay. I'm going to bend that wire down and around just like we did for Giacometti and clamp it down so the wire is holding on to the end of the newspaper. Oh, it didn't go in there. I'll open it up and try it one more time. And I'll clamp it in there. Might take a couple tries, that's okay. All right. There we go. Okay, the wire is on the end of the newspaper. Now I'm going to take the wire and start to spin it around the leg, just like we did for the Giacometti figures. You might have to twist your newspaper as you go. That's okay. Okay. This needs to be clamped in there a little better. There we go. Clamp that down. Make sure nothing's sticking up that could scratch you. Keep wrapping your wire around the leg. Now, let's see how we're doing on the size of our animal. I'm going to lay that new leg right on top of my drawing, and sure enough it should end right here. But I'm noticing the donkey's leg is thin here and thick here. So I'm going to lay this here, this piece of newspaper again, this new leg, and I'm going to know I need to make it thicker here. So I can add a little extra newspaper, or I actually have some extra here on the end. I'll wrap it again, make it thicker, and I'll wrap that wire maybe once or twice, as tight as I can, guys. Keep it with a lot of tension. There you go. And now I've got a leg the correct size for my donkey. I'll make another one while I'm at it. Here's a little trick, guys. If you find that your newspaper is too loose when the wire is spinning around it, you can always take it and twist it by hand a couple of times, and that's going to spin it much tighter. Feel free to do that anytime you feel like your newspaper is too loosely being captured by the wire. It'll really tighten it up. Whenever you make your shapes, always leave a little bit of wire on the end, because that's how you're going to tie this into the other body parts. So you're going to see I've got two legs, they're the same size, and they both got tails or wire left off the back side of them. Oh, about a little longer than the palm of your hand is the smallest it should be. It could be as long as your whole hand. That would be about right, so that it can tie into your next piece of the body. Next I'm going to do the larger part of the donkey's body, which would include its stomach and its hindquarters. So I'm going to grab quite a bit of newspaper, and now's a great time for me to look at the back view of the donkey and see what shape it needs to be. I can also look at the front view of the donkey and try and get a sense of how round it is. Is this animal flat or really round? And I can see his shape from that back picture. Okay, I'll grab a little bit of newspaper. I want to keep this so I get the size right. A couple sheets of newspaper. And I want to take wire 4 times as long as the donkey's body. 1, 2, I could even go a little more than that. 3, maybe, let's go 4, we'll go 4.5 just to be sure. 4.5 times as long as the donkey's body, or your animal. Now I'm going to try to crumple up some paper that feels like this egg shape. Okay, crumple it pretty tight, guys. Okay, that seemed like a lot of paper, but it's not enough. I need a lot more. Maybe even more. Okay. Still more. Take your time to get this shape. You can always get more paper. Okay, great. When I feel like I've got a shape that is similar size as the body of the animal, I'm going to go ahead and twist it with the wire. I'll take my safety loops, put them at the end. 1, 2. Now I'm going to hold my clump of paper and tightly wind it around. Okay, wind it around pretty tight, guys. You can always add more paper. And then use your hands to smoosh it into shape, and always leave that tail, that little tail, so it can tie into the next part of the project. So that's going to be the body part of the donkey. And I've got 2 legs.